So today we're going to be doing a quick review of this very lovely 1950s Sheaffer Admiral. Very nice with the screw off top, screw cap, and a 14 karat gold nib. Let's see if we can get that in focus. Yeah, nice. And what is really cool about this one is that this is one of the snorkel feel mechanisms. So we have this, we twist this back part, and we get that snorkel that comes out. So when you dip into the ink, you don't have to dip all the way into the ink, not getting the nib wet. And the idea is that it, is a very clean way to fill the pen without, you don't have to wipe it off afterwards, and you can just go right into writing. And so it is that touchdown feature there. I'm not sure if you can hear. Let me get the microphone so you can hear. That's how you know it's working well. You pull it out, and then you'll get a little psst of air. So we'll try that. This on eBay maybe a couple weeks ago. The person that restored it really did a good job on the push down feature, and so it works really well. You get a nice full feel of the sack when you press it and touch it down. Or it can be difficult for a lot of other, I have a couple of other Sheaffer touchdowns, and sometimes the touchdown feature is a little inconsistent and you're not exactly sure if you have ink in there. The only problem that I do have with this one is the nib size. It writes very fine. It's an extra fine, and so it's a little fine for me, and so I'm probably going to be selling this one. Start off by getting some measurements of it. I guess with it screwed in, you get about 5.5 inches. With it capped, uncapped, we go down to about 4.5 inches. So take an inch off for that. It doesn't post very deeply, but it does post securely. So it good fit in the hand with posted, and you can do it unposted, and it still, at least for my hand, it still fits really well. But posting it doesn't add too much length to it, or doesn't, and it's very light because it does. Although it doesn't post, deeply, it is secure though, but it's still very light, and so it doesn't back weight it in any way. So it's still comfortable to write in the hand. And then let's look at it posted. We got about 6.5 inches posted, so not a very big pen, but I love this color. It's nice, the color stands out. The gold trimming is very beautiful on there. I believe it says W.A. Sheaffer Pen Company from Fort Madison, Iowa, USA, made in the USA. Let's see what this pen weighs. 0.5 to about half an ounce with it capped. And this is empty with no ink, so let's move it over a bit. All right, so taking it down to 0.37 ounces, and we'll put the cap back on there. 0.56. So again, not a very heavy pen, rather super lightweight. You can, write with it for a long period of time, without getting too heavy. Let's actually get a writing sample. We'll take out the super fine quality original brand paper, cream writing, made in Japan. I don't know. Oh, this is the Life Company paper. Really great paper, great for fountain pens. Do the ink. that I'm going to be using today is actually not Mont Blanc. This is just a Mont Blanc bottle. It's actually filled with one of my other favorite ink colors, the Diamine Oxblood. And so I'm just going to do a dip. Just going to dip it, not going to fill it because, again, I do plan on selling it and I don't feel like doing another clean again. Get this unscrewed first before we move the microphone. All right. So we'll get a little dip, little dippity doo-dah. Maybe. All right, let's see. Yes, there. All right, one more few dips just to make sure we have enough there. And yeah, let's see if it's scratchy. Let's see if it writes smooth. And got a little drippy. Yeah, that's why you don't. Stuff like this is why you don't. It's why the snorkel feature is actually very cool because you don't have to worry about it dripping from the nib. You don't have to wipe it off. You don't have to have a little piece of paper with you after you fill your pen. You can just dip it, put the ink back, or put the snorkel back in, and then you are good to go writing. So let's see what we have here. Excuse the handwriting, it's not perfect, still working on it, but who are you to judge? All right. We have the Sheaffer Admiral. The handwriting isn't great, and neither is the spelling. So again, don't judge me. Sheaffer Admiral. Really cool. Ink. And pretty smooth for an extra fine. There's a little feedback, but for the most part, very smooth. Not even sure if we can pick that up. Let's see if we can get. Let's see if we can get any line variation. A little bit. So we're able to get a little bit of line variation with the nib, relatively stiff, which I don't mind. General writing, I don't need a lot of flex in there. I mean, for me personally, it's not necessary, not a deal breaker if it doesn't flex. And funny enough, as I am writing this, I'm looking at it and actually I'm not sure if I'm going to be selling this one now, because that's the thing about a cool pen. You can have the idea that, you know what, I might not like it or I might not want it, but then you fill it up with a nice ink and you get to writing and you turn out really loving it. So maybe I will keep this one. Maybe I'll keep this one. Maybe not. Not exactly sure yet. Again, I do really enjoy this pen. I do have, and I'll do some size comparisons to a couple of the other Sheaffers that I have. I'm going to do some size comparisons. So we have the Sheaffer Admiral. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. Admiral, like sea captain, you know what I mean. David Robinson of them. We have a Sheaffer Imperial with the blue Sheaffer Imperial. We have another Sheaffer Imperial non-white dot. These are all touchdowns. We have the Sheaffer PFM, pen for men's. Yeah, also touchdown. And interesting enough, all of these, except for this Admiral here, these are all pull caps. The Admiral is the only twist cap. And these are all vintage from I think from like the 50s to the 60s, maybe 70s, but I'm pretty sure it's in between the 50s and 60s. And then we actually have the newer one, the Sheaffer Icon, which is also a pull cap, not a twist cap. So they're all about the same size. So probably all around, what would we say, 5.5 inches. The other Imperial and the PFM and even this Icon seem to be a little bit shorter than that. Not much though. Again, right around that 5 inch, maybe a little bit more. Mark a little bit between 5.5 inches. So that is with them capped. So this is what they look like. This is the length comparison. Uncapped. Again, they all might be about the same size. It seems like this little twist there, right there, that little end gives it a little extra. The cone end where you the twist for the touchdown mechanism, it's cone shape, gives it a little extra length there. But they're all about the same length that way. And then let's look at them posted. So we're gonna try to use those as a roll stop. Usually I try to match. Typically I try to, when I do post, I don't post all my pens, but for like an everyday carry one that I may be taking on the go, I do like for that to be posted, just because I don't want to have to, if like I'm on a train or something, I need to write something down. I don't want to have to hold the cap in my hand and keep up with two things. And so I typically don't post my pens, but for the ones that I use more frequently, I do like to have to be able to post them without them being uncomfortable. I'm gonna guess that this one, because it doesn't post very deeply, is gonna be a little significantly longer. So let's see there. And then old Mr. Dolphin Nose. Yeah, so yeah, again, they're all similar lengths because of how undeeply that one posts. This one here, it is a little bit longer, but again, not too much longer, and it doesn't backweight, and it doesn't feel weird when you are writing with it. And I guess to compare it to some non-Sheaffers, I'm definitely going to do a review on that PFM. That is my favorite one out of all of them so far. I have my eye on the Sheaffer Legacy. Sheaffer, if you feel like sending me one to do a review on, I'll gladly take it. I know I'm a new channel, but still, I'll take that. I'm not going to turn down that. I like it because of that is the Sheaffer Admiral. That's what the word I was looking for. The Sheaffer Admiral. You know what I mean. For tuning in today and back with me, Penshaw Wright, and thank you. Peace.